Who knew? Hulu. If every dog has its day, the premium video streaming service is barking very loudly today. That's because prospective buyers are barking even more loudly. Whether those bids ever get around to approaching the company's self-valuation of north of $2 billion is anyone's guess. This much is not. The internet is suddenly hot, and once lukewarm players are suddenly deemed very much in play. Sound a lot like that other high-tech boom, you know, the one that eventually went bust and cut the NASDAQ in half? For now, Wall Streeters don't seem too discerning. Stocks continuing their melt up, as it's known, as the Dow closes up another triple digits. Now to Bob Wiedemer on what's really up here. Bob, the Hulu thing, I think, sort of nicely tells the story that not only does every dog have its day, but people reassess the dogs and figure, what the hey? What is going on?
Well, what's going on is obviously we're all hoping this market keeps going up. Even if revenues are declining, earnings growth is declining, we're hoping for another bubble. I mean, look how good the internet was until it popped. That's really what's pushing up. There's a lot of hope here. Is this a bubble?
Are you saying by definition what's going on with Hulu, what's been happening, in the tech sector is indicative of what happened before?
When stocks aren't being pushed up by fundamentals, it's, well, fundamentally a bubble, right? And remember, during the internet, we thought that, oh, well, we're just using new metrics to value things. It's a whole different world, right. This and that. In reality, no. And the NASDAQ's still down, way down from where it was when it popped in 2000.
But someone told me, and you keep these numbers far better than I, so I wouldn't even hazard to quibble with you, that if the NASDAQ were to get back to even 5,000, the valuations would be more in line with the reality than that figure represented back in 2000. What do you say?
Well, I don't think they're more. Remember, there's also been a change, and that's interest rates. Interest rates have made a difference. And what's caused those interest rates? Tons of printed money. I mean, lots. $85 billion a month. So,
what if that money weren't there, Bob? What if that nicotine weren't being provided?
Well, even ask the bulls. They'll tell you the Fed's got our back. That's why we're jumping into this market. But I think it's not smart to do that for too long. And even interest rates. Remember, we're up from a 10-year bond at 1.6% to about 2.1 today. So just because the Fed's printing money doesn't mean interest rates are always staying low. So yeah, obviously it's helping, but how long does that last?
All right, how long do you think it lasts? Because some people say that in the meantime you can have a very nice melt up of whatever you want to call it, and can go on, as my friend Charlie Gasparino was saying, for a good couple of years. So you go with the flow, don't fight the tape, don't fight the Fed, just run, baby, run.
Yeah, and to some degree that's true, right? If it's 1999, it can still go up, or 1998. But ultimately, most people went up and they melted right back down. So
in other words,
that's
they don't have the discerning power to get out at the right time, but they can overplay it, right?
Exactly, and I'd be careful about thinking this thing's going to go on for 2 more years or something like that. I mean, the market's been on a pretty good run. It's going to be a little tricky to try to move this 2 years at this rate, that's for sure.
What would be the first sign you look for then, Bob, if the Fed, it doesn't have to take the punch bowl away, but it can hint it's taking some of it away, right? It could let's say, take 80 to 85 billion of securities that it's buying and drip it down to 70, 60, 50, like that. That would be a first sign to get out, right?
It would be, absolutely, and you'll find people will get out because that's what they think is driving this market up. So if you see that kind of move, obviously it's going to be time to take some profits. At the same time, you'd also tell you something about the Fed. Even the Fed's getting a little worried about this. I don't think they entirely believe this isn't going to cause inflation. I think that's a bit of a myth.
Yeah, well, they're trying to hide behind numbers that might not be very reliable, but it's always a pleasure, Robert. Thank you very, very much.